February 1959. The northern Ural Mountains, a land swallowed by an endless white silence. Below peaks shrouded in an immutable frost, a group of 9 experienced ski hikers led by Igor Dyatlov began their expedition. Their destination? Ortorten, a mountain whose name whispered, "Don't go there," in the local Mansi language. The air itself felt like a living thing, a cold, hungry entity waiting to consume all warmth. This was not a place for the unprepared, and yet this group, hardened by Soviet winters, was anything but. Igor Dyatlov, an engineering student, led a vibrant mix of students and instructors from the Ural Polytechnical Institute. Young, resilient, full of life, and the camaraderie that binds explorers. They laughed, they sang, they documented their journey in journals and photographs. Their mission was ambitious, a Category 3 trek, the most difficult classification. They sought to conquer the wilderness, to feel the raw power of nature. They recorded their daily mileage, their meals, their plans. Every entry, a footprint in the snow, marking their confident progress deeper into the vast, indifferent landscape. For weeks, they pushed on, their skis gliding over the endless expanse. Forest gave way to tundra, and then to the stark, unforgiving slopes. The wind, a constant, gnawing companion, sculpted the snow into spectral drifts and razor-sharp cornices. Their journals speak of blizzards, of broken skis, of the sheer, bone-wearying effort required to simply exist in such an environment. But there was no fear, only determination. They were adventurers, forging a path where few dared to tread, leaving a trail that would soon vanish under fresh snow, just like their own story. On February 1st, they began their ascent of Kholat Syakhl, Dead Mountain. They made a tactical error, veering off course in poor visibility, ending up on the mountain's eastern slope, rather than descending to the forest below. A decision made, perhaps by weariness or the fading light. They dug into the slope, creating a platform for their tent, shielding it from the relentless wind. Above them, the stars began to pinprick the inky blackness. Around them, nothing but the howling wind and the indifferent frozen wilderness. They were alone, utterly, irrevocably alone. The final photographs are grainy, blurred by the fading light, capturing trivial moments, setting up the tent, a shared meal, figures silhouetted against the vastness. The last journal entry speaks of the cold, of preparations for the night. The temperature outside was plummeting, perhaps to -25 or -30 degrees Celsius. Inside the tent, a small lantern might have cast dancing shadows. Conversation might have drifted into sleep. A final, mundane snapshot of life, unaware of the curtain about to fall. The world outside their canvas shell was a freezing, silent void. The silence was soon to be broken, not by human voice, but by something else entirely. Dyatlov's group was due back in Vijay by February 12th. When they didn't arrive, no immediate alarm was raised. Delays were common in such expeditions. But days stretched into a week, then more. By February 20th, relatives began to demand a search. The institute sent volunteers. Then the military joined, deploying planes and helicopters. The scale of the search reflected a growing unease. The vastness of the Urals seemed to swallow their efforts. The hope of finding them alive began to fade, replaced by a creeping dread. The mountains held their secrets tight. On February 26th, searchers spotted it, the tent, pitched on the slope of Kholat Syakhl. It was half-collapsed, buried under snow. Closer inspection revealed a scene of impossible chaos. The tent was not collapsed by a natural force. It was slashed open, from the inside in multiple places. Equipment, food, clothes, all abandoned within. It was as if its occupants had burst out in a frantic, desperate rush into the brutal cold with nothing but the clothes on their backs. The implications were chilling. Something had driven them from their shelter. Something so terrifying, so urgent, that they chose to face the deadly blizzard rather than remain inside. A kilometer and a half down the slope, at the edge of a dense cedar forest, the first 2 bodies were found, Krivonishenko and Doroshenko. They were clad only in underwear or partial clothing, their feet bare. Around them, snapped branches from the cedar, suggesting a clumsy attempt to climb it. Below them, the remnants of a small fire, barely alight, a testament to a desperate struggle against the biting cold. But why here? Why so far from the tent, so underdressed? The scene spoke of a profound confusion, a panicked flight, and a futile attempt at survival in the face of an unimaginable threat. Further up the slope, between the cedar and the abandoned tent, 3 more bodies emerged from the snow. Dyatlov himself, Kolmogorova, and Slobodin. They lay sprawled in postures suggesting a desperate crawl, a frantic attempt to return to the tent. Dyatlov, on his back, arm reaching out, as if pleading for help. Kolmogorova, face down, head towards the tent. Slobodin, partially buried, a small crack in his skull, possibly from a fall. Each step towards the tent, each meter gained was a battle against the overwhelming cold, a battle they ultimately lost. The trail of bodies painted a grim picture of a catastrophic retreat. It took 2 more months as the spring thaw began to loosen the mountain's icy grip for the final 4 to be found. They were discovered deep within a snow-filled ravine beneath 4 meters of snow near a stream. Dubinina, Zolotaryov, Thibaut Brignoles, and Kolovatov. Their discovery introduced a new, chilling layer of horror. They were better dressed than the others, some wearing clothes stripped from the first 5, a testament to the desperate scramble for survival. But it was their injuries that would forever haunt the case. They were unlike anything seen before. The autopsies revealed grotesque internal trauma. Thibaut Brignoles had a fractured skull. Dubinina and Zolotaryov had crushed chests, a force equivalent to a car crash, yet with no external bruising. They had fractured ribs, some broken in multiple places. But perhaps most disturbing, Dubinina was found missing her tongue, eyes, and part of her mouth. Zolotaryov, too, was missing eyeballs. These were not the wounds of a fall or a fight with animals. These were the marks of an impossible, unseen force, a brutal, crushing power that left no trace on the skin. As if the trauma wasn't enough, other strange details emerged. Some of the victims' clothes contained traces of radiation, though not enough to be lethal. Their skin, in some cases, had an unusual orange or brownish-red hue. One victim's hair had turned gray. These were not uniform findings across all bodies, but enough to fuel the speculation. Was it simply exposure, or did it point to something more sinister, something beyond the known perils of the wilderness? The crimson stain of the unknown settled deep into the fabric of the mystery. The official investigation, led by prosecutor Lev Ivanov, concluded abruptly. The cause of death was attributed to an unknown compelling force. The case files were sealed, categorized as secret, and sent to a special archive. Access was restricted for decades. The lack of a clear explanation, combined with the swift closure and secrecy, only deepened the mystery. What was this compelling force? Why the silence? The official narrative served only to amplify the chilling implications, leaving a void filled by speculation and fear. In the decades that followed, theories bloomed like frost flowers in the cold. Avalanche, pure and simple, though the slope was not steep enough for a typical slab avalanche, and the tent showed no signs of being buried under a massive snow mass. Infrasound, a low-frequency hum that could induce panic and irrational fear, caused by the wind interacting with the mountain's topography. Paradoxical undressing, a hypothermia symptom where victims shed clothes due to a false sensation of heat, though this doesn't explain the injuries. Each theory, a desperate attempt to impose order on a chaotic, inexplicable event. Beyond the natural, darker whispers persisted. Military tests, secret weapons, a botched experiment. Or perhaps something more primeval, a clash with indigenous Mansi hunters, though their involvement was quickly ruled out. Or even a Yeti? The unknown compelling force invited all manner of speculation. The Dyatlov Pass Incident remains a scar on the canvas of history, a chilling testament to the fragility of life in the face of the truly inexplicable. A story where the facts refuse to coalesce, leaving only questions and the enduring echo of 9 lives lost to a force no one can name.